But we also have news of another key vote, this time across the Atlantic in the United States, where the US Senate has just passed President Trump's so-called One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Vice-President JD Vance cast the tie-breaking vote for it to go through the Senate. That's after 3 Republicans, along with every Democrat, voted against the bill. It is legislation which contains key elements of Donald Trump's agenda, and the bill now goes back to the House of Representatives for further consideration, where it is very likely to face something of an uphill battle to get all the Republicans there on board ahead of Donald Trump's self-imposed deadline, which is July the 4th. Let's talk again to our North America correspondent, Anthony Zerka, who's with me in the studio because he's visiting London at the moment. So good to have you with us. Well, we've already had Donald Trump's reaction to this, haven't we?
We have. He said it's music to my ears. Obviously, he's very pleased by this. It was a big hurdle for this bill to overcome, getting all the senators to agree. There were 4 no votes, it seemed, for all of today. They finally twisted some arms. Lisa Murkowski, the senator from Alaska, switched over to their side. They added provisions that gave some subsidies on health insurance to poor Alaskans, and that won her over. And so now, as you mentioned, it goes back to the House of Representatives. They had already approved it one time, but now they're going to have to deal with these changes that the Senate put in.
Just explain to us once again why, he calls it, they call it the big, beautiful bill. What is in it? Why is it so central to Donald Trump's presidency?
Well, there was a decision made months ago that to get Donald Trump's legislative agenda through, all the things he promised on the campaign trail last year, they were going to package it into one big, beautiful bill. They were going to do this all in one go, which presented a certain number of challenges because of everything contained in here. There'd be people who had problems with different things and would pick it apart, but it contains the heart of Donald Trump's agenda. That's a boosting by $70 billion immigration enforcement on border walls and new detention centers and new immigration officers, over $100 billion in new military spending for this Golden Dome missile defense that Donald Trump talks about, and making tax cuts that Trump and the Republicans passed in his first term permanent, and adding new tax cuts for no taxes on tip income, no taxes on overtime income that Donald Trump promised while he campaigned last year. So all of it is bundled up into one thing. It's paid for in part by cuts to some social programs like Medicaid, which is a health insurance program for low-income Americans. And it adds about $3 trillion to the national debt, which is one of the reasons some senators like Rand Paul had objections to it.
And also Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, one of Donald Trump's most fervent supporters, or he was, not anymore, because he doesn't like this bill at all.
No, he said it adds way too much to the national debt, that the interest payments on the debt are going to take up a bigger and bigger piece of America's government's expenditures. Trump countered by saying what he really cares about were the environmental subsidies for electric cars and for his space program, because those were things that got cut as well. And so once again, we've seen a renewal of the feud between Donald Trump and Elon Musk right on the eve of this vote, although despite Elon Musk saying that anyone who voted for this was making a huge mistake, enough Republicans came through in the Senate in the end.